Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you get. This is what we've got, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. It's January 2nd. Happy New Year's to everyone. I want to do kind of a free-form brainstorm sort of talk out of the side of our next night tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Just kind of kicking ideas around, seeing what we might do in the new year. As I said, we're not making any plans. We were betrayed badly by Congress this past congressional session. More to the point, we're a fiercely nonpartisan group, by the way. If you're new to the group, welcome. We're the oldest, first, largest, and really only true grassroots group in the country fighting only and absolutely for student loan justice. Nonpartisan group, guys, but I have to tell you, the Democrats betrayed us on a very long-standing promise to return bankruptcy protections to student loans this last session. It was a very unique and rare window of opportunity that they had. They promised that they would return bankruptcy to student loans in the DNC platform of 2020 and the DNC platform of 2016. Heck, going back to 2006, the Democrats were promising to return bankruptcy protections to student loans. If you're new to the group, nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. It's a terrible thing to have to do. But after 18 years of very careful observation, living and breathing this issue, we have come to understand that it is the removal of this constitutionally enshrined protection, this right of bankruptcy, that lies at the core. It is the core of this predatory, tyrannical, now thankfully catastrophically failed lending scam. So you're very welcome here, no matter what your political stripes are. But guys, I have to hang this one on the Democrats. The Democrats had control of the House, of the Senate, of the presidency. So where do we go from here? I don't know. The Democrats are not trustworthy, including people like Elizabeth Warren. I'm going to make one small prediction here out of the side of my neck. But if I had to guess, I'd say within about a week or two, Elizabeth Warren, Senator Elizabeth Warren, is going to stand up and she's going to say, "Ladies and gentlemen, we need bankruptcy for student loans." And she's going to trot out her own legislation with the House. It'll may even be bipartisan. I don't know. But guys, I'm here to tell you, Elizabeth Warren and the Democrats had their shot last session. And they demonstrated what they're willing to do, what they're not willing to do. They made a conscious group decision to betray us on bankruptcy when they had the chance. And Elizabeth Warren, quite frankly, went out of her way to scuttle our legislation, which was perfectly positioned, perfectly ready to pass. Elizabeth Warren, she had her foot on the neck of this legislation. And so, I don't know, guys. I'm frankly at kind of a loss. I think we need some new, fresh ideas. So I'm looking for your comments now if you're watching us on Twitter or Facebook. And you have any questions or comments, I'm very happy to read them aloud on air as I see them. Just refreshing our Facebook group now. Oh, there it is right there. I hope everybody is doing well out there in the world. There's the news, this congressional session ending was a gut punch for us, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. And again, if you're new to the group, this group is all about student loan cancellation. We actually started the whole public conversation about canceling student loans by executive order. That was us. That started with us in this group. And the people on this group that got that petition rocking many, many months before Elizabeth Warren even uttered the words student loan cancellation and executive order in the same sentence, there was us knocking this petition around, getting it up to hundreds of thousands of signatures. It's now up to like 1.2 million signatures now, by the way. So that's certainly not nothing. Just refreshing our face. So yeah, I see Joanna's here now. Hey, Joanna. So here's where we're at, guys. We're looking into the next year. We've got a lame, feckless loan cancellation that may not even happen because it's being challenged. And it may actually be quite legally vulnerable, by the way. And by the way, the loan cancellation that Biden trotted out, in my estimation, I think this thing was probably doomed to fail. It was like designed to fail. They used a terrible, ill-fitting law as the basis for doing it. I don't know if they can go back and change their minds and change the basis to a better law, which is simply the Higher Education Act, Section 632 or 432, Section 6A or something like that, which gives the Secretary of Education full broad authority to waive, compromise, release the debt. So we'll see how that plays out. But guys, I'm telling you, the Biden administration never wanted to cancel loans. They did it only kicking and screaming. And this thing that we got, even if it actually worked, even if they administered it in the best of good faith, which is, there's no good reason to think that, $10,000 is not going to do anything for the people who are hurt worst by these loans. You know, if they cancel $10,000 across the board, okay, so 15 or 20 million people are going to have their loans disappear. And that's great for them. But, you know, if you owe less than $10,000 in student loans, you probably weren't really hurting that bad in the first place. You know, we have people on this group who owe $500,000, $1 million even. We've got a married couple that has repaid over $1 million on their student loans, and they still owe over $1 million on their student loans. I kid you not. They've paid way more than they ever borrowed. But the people who are hurt, and older people in their people over the age of 50, for example, on average, even though they borrowed just a tiny amount of money way back in the 80s or 70s or 90s or whatever, on average, they owe 300% more than people under the age of 25. So the people being hurt worst are not helped at all by this $10,000 nonsense. You know, when we started our petition, we stand by this 1,000,000% today. All federally owned student loans must be canceled. All of them. The entire lending system needs to be ended. This entire lending system is an abomination to the Constitution. It's a cancer on this country. It's tyranny. It is tyranny, guys. The founding fathers, if they saw what was going on, if they're looking down now, who knows? The founding fathers would be looking down, shaking their heads, saying, "Why are our citizens allowing themselves to be conquered and enslaved by this nonsensical federal gimmickry, this trickery?" You know, the founding fathers called for uniform bankruptcy laws in the Constitution. They also called for equal protection under the law. They called for due process. They even, they actually also, and this is appropriate to say this, they abolished not only slavery, but indentured servitude. Article 13, read it for yourself. So this lending system is not constitutional. It's not legitimate. It's failed, catastrophically failed by all rational metrics and measures. You know, 85% of all the borrowers were never going to be able to repay their loans. And that was true even before the pandemic. The lending system has to be replaced. But for the lack of courage in Washington, D.C., this would and should have been done years or even decades ago. So, you know, where to go from here? You know, we tried pushing Congress for many, many years. Here now we're headed into a gridlock Congress starting tomorrow. Will we still push for the return of bankruptcy rights? Well, obviously we will. That's clear. But guys, we're not interested in repeating the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. It's the definition of insanity, as they say. I'm not into that, guys. We've got to bring a lot more fight into this battle. And you know, the song I tried to play badly back there, I'm not saying that people didn't try, but guys, I'm telling you, people didn't try nearly enough. People like, people who tried know who they are. They are the veterans and the pioneers, and they have nothing to be ashamed of. And there were many of them. Hundreds, thousands of people actually put a lot of effort into this. And to all of them, I salute you. But to everybody else, this is what you get, guys. This is what you get when you don't try. This was a battle that, frankly, I think it would have been easily won if even, 10% of the people on our group would have been fighting. But there was too many people out there being lazy, being paralyzed, being distracted, assuming that somebody else was going to pull their weight for them. Never happens. Nobody's going to pull your weight for you. These are your loans. So, we're headed into a gridlock Congress. They're going to turn these loans back on at some point, sometime between now and summertime. Supposedly, whoever knows. It's the Wild West out there, guys. This lending system is vanishing into a mist of illegitimacy before our very eyes, but that doesn't change the law. That does not change the law, and that does not take away the power, legal power, that the collection industry has over us. So you see the conundrum, eh? Now, in my humble opinion, nobody should ever pay another dollar on their federal student loans, certainly. This is a beast, and you should not feed dangerous beasts. As I said, even before the pandemic, more than half of everybody, 60% of everybody was not paying on their student loans. That's just true. That's nearly 2/3 of everybody. So how many people are going to actually resume paying when they start demanding payment? Very few people. It was like 40% before the pandemic were paying. I think it'll drop to 20-25% whenever they turn the loans back on. And then in the ensuing 3 months, I think that's going to drop down to, 15, 20%, 10, 15%. I wish it would go to zero, quite frankly, because this lending system has outlived whatever usefulness it may have ever had. It's time to throw this lending catastrophe, this nationally threatening, unconstitutional loan scam, on the scrap heap of failed U.S. policy experiments, because that's what this was. Numbers don't lie, guys. We wanted the clean ending to this. We wanted the return of bankruptcy protections that would allow for an orderly unwinding of this failed lending program. It was kind of the moderate middle ground. We saw all the fighting and the kicking and the screaming with the cancellation thing, but we weren't able to get it done. And for various reasons, who knows? Maybe they were never intending to pass it. I don't know. But I do know that we did not fight nearly hard enough. And so we are going to be in a very shitty situation. And the number one piece of advice I have for anybody out there, frankly, is to bulletproof yourselves, because we don't know what's going to come. I don't know. You don't know. People in Washington, D.C. don't know. The freaking idiot swamp writers at Forbes magazine and just all the financial / corporate media, they don't have a clue. Nobody knows what to do. This lending system is done. What needs to happen is the loans need to be canceled, the lending system needs to be ended, and Congress needs to figure out a rationally priced way to fund higher education in this country, if they even want to fund it. I think they probably should and will. But the lending system is toast, guys, and everybody, including our opposition, knows it. At this point, they are showing, the bad guys, our opposition, they are showing their true colors, fighting tooth and nail, claiming that cancellation will be a cost to the taxpayers. That's just complete nonsense, guys. The overwhelming majority of the student loan portfolio is interest and fees and profit. It's all profit. Nearly all profit. It won't cost the taxpayers. PPP loans, now those actually did cost the taxpayers. Those added to the national debt, required money to be drawn from the treasury, won't be repaid. Student loans have been repaid. Federal student loans, people have paid through the freaking nose in some instances. And as I said, the vast majority of that portfolio is pure profit. And really, the entire balance, I think, could be written off. And in taking two steps back, I think the federal government would probably be either breaking even, or they may even be a little bit in the black, because this lending scam has been very profitable, including for the taxpayers over many years and decades. So there's no good reason for anybody out there to be paying into this monstrosity. Certainly not for any kind of moral reasons. I'm all for repaying one's debts, but I know that this principle of personal responsibility has been used as cover for the worst big government lending irresponsibility, tyranny, actually, abuse of the citizenry in our nation's history. I can't think of anything that compares to it, where the government has so blatantly stolen wealth and fucked its people up to the great detriment of the country than this federal student loan program. Pardon my French. So yeah, guys, what this year is going to bring us is an open question. I'm open to your thoughts. You may have your own. One thing, as I said, the one thing that I would tell people is you should really bulletproof yourself. If you're among the 85% of all borrowers who are never going to be able to repay your loans, and if you're among like the 80% of all borrowers who will not be resuming paying, maybe even 85%, you probably want to bulletproof yourself. And I hope you know what that means. We don't give, personal advice on this group, but there's a lot of things that you can do, like, being a 1099 contractor so that there's no wage to garnish. If you have to have an employer, tell your employer to refuse a garnishment request. Tell them to come back with a court order and they'll probably go away. Hiding your assets, I don't know. Just bulletproof yourself. Google it. Beyond that, I can only say you've got to fight. I only wish that more people would have been fighting with us last year. It didn't happen. So here we are. It's going to get ugly, and that's just kind of the reality of things, I think. We certainly can't count on the Democrats. We thought we could for a minute, but they, as I said, betrayed us. And I'm not saying the Republicans are great. Republicans are essentially evil on this issue. So we'll continue to push both parties, but kind of with our tongue in our cheek at this point, because really we just don't take them seriously, and neither should you. We cannot count on any politicians, and I would say maybe even especially the politicians that are going to come out, Elizabeth Warren, in the next couple of weeks, and go, yeah, bankrupt. I'm all for bankruptcy. No. We're not going to be played for fools again. People are smarter than that. So you know what, guys? Unfortunately, I can't really see your comments for some reason. They don't seem to be wanting to load. So that happens from time to time, and I apologize. But I will certainly look at your comments and your thoughts and your wishes and your any ideas that you might have. I know some people were talking about doing a podcast or something, and I'm kind of like, wait, isn't this thing that I'm doing right now, is that not a podcast? I don't know. But maybe we should bring on some more guests and so on and so forth. But, at the end of the day, guys, this battle entirely hinges on how hard you fight. Now, whether you do it and whether you fight in a smart way. If you sit there and you bitch about your own loans all day long to the Department of Education ombudsman, that's not fighting. All that is running through hoops that will get you nowhere. It doesn't push the needle forward for us. It doesn't help you. The ombudsman is a cruel joke, and I can talk about that later at some point. Well, I'll just tell you now, the ombudsman, the company that has the contract to staff the office of the ombudsman, it's a student loan collection company called ACS. That was true a few years ago. I would imagine that it's still true today, but yeah, people answering the phones at the ombudsman office, there's a very good chance they're getting their paychecks from a student loan collection company. So it's just, the whole thing is just corrupt beyond comprehensions. The conflicts are just disgusting, and they're everywhere. And this is not a lending program that can be fixed. It's been too overwhelmed and too catastrophically just wrecked by these corrupt people. It's time to take it out back and take it to the bath and drown it in the tub. And everybody knows that, including our opposition. So I will check back on here in a little while and see what thoughts you may have. I know there's a lot of things that we can do. There's a lot of things that we have already tried and don't work. So, if you have an idea, make it realistic and practical, like something that you can take the lead and that you yourself are willing to put effort into. Just calling for a 1 million man march, anybody can say that, but it's a far different thing to actually make it happen. So keep it realistic, keep it to something that we, as a grassroots group of normal people who don't have trillions of dollars to throw around, or even really hundreds of dollars, probably. I don't know. We're looking for good ideas. They can come from anywhere. Be clever, be creative, and be willing to do the work to make the ideas that you might have happen. No pie in the sky stuff, but whatever. I don't want to put any limits on you. Just whatever you're thinking. So I will be checking. Last thing I'm going to say tonight, guys, is if you want this group to continue to even exist, we've got to have nominal donations, guys. And I think if you look below, or maybe I can dial it in, we don't need a lot of money to fight this battle, guys. A couple $1,000 a month is what our costs are. But guys, we cannot do it on nothing. We simply cannot. So like right now, this is, I'm sure it's pie in the sky, but we're hoping very much that we can get 1,000 people to donate at $20 a piece. So that would be $20,000. And that would allow us to operate for many months, like through like the end of the summer or something. It would allow me to shut up about fundraising so that we can focus on this fight, whatever it may bring us. And like I said, guys, we're in the Wild West here. So if you could help with that, help us get this year off to a strong start, that would be just hugely appreciated, because I hate fundraising and I suck at it. So please just make that happen. Beyond that, I will just say, keep your eyes open, guys. Things are happening. Who knows where we're going to get hit from? We have no idea what's going to happen going forward. Nobody does. But I guarantee you that stuff will happen, and it will be important. And we're going to see some things shake out in the next month, and who knows what quarters they will come from. But don't be fooled, and don't be too distracted. 90% of the crap that we see come out about this problem is literally just interference, distraction, noise from our opposition. So be smarter than that. I'd say keep in touch with this group often. We tell the truth, guys, and that's all we've ever told. And the research we do is top notch. And if you go, and by the way, if you're new to the group, go to our studentloanjustice.medium.com channel and read our most recent 5, 10, 15 articles. There's a lot of very good, unbroken research. So this is stuff that nobody knows. And we've been featured. Our stuff is, we've broken news on 60 Minutes and in the Wall Street Journal and the Chronicle of Higher Education. Our research is top notch, guys. You can trust every claim that we make. And some of those claims at that medium place, here, let me dial that in as well. Learn the truth, as it says. Go there and read. Even our most recent 5, 6, 7 articles will make you a very, very well-armed student loan justice warrior. And it will help. But get in the game, guys, because it's kind of not a game. This is kind of your financial livelihood that hangs in the balance here. We could be looking at a bloodbath going forward when they turn these loans back on. The collection companies are drooling like starving pigs, like starving sharks when they think about the prospect of these loans getting turned back on. Hey, Joanna says, I like the burning video idea. I will be doing that soon. Oh, that's right. I forgot to mention that. If you've had enough, as many people have, and you want to destroy your student loans, make a video. Make like a 30-second video. It'll be fun. And make it as anonymously or as anonymously as you wish. Send it to us. You can email it to us if you want. You can put it in a Give Send Go or something or whatever that is. You can get it to us. You can do it as with your name, without your name, whatever you want to do, but just like a 30-second video. Keep it short. Don't. We're talking about short attention span audience here. Keep it very short. Keep it powerful. Make it effective. Use your head and send it to us, and we'll see what we can throw on the wall, and people can watch and people can see. So, okay, guys, I think I will end it there. I will be back, I think, on Wednesday. Ed may or may not be back. We're kind of in wait, watch, and listen mode at the moment, guys. We're not making any hard plans right now. This is really, we're just kind of kicking back and watching the dust settle. And so this is exactly the right time for any good ideas that you might have, and for you to educate yourself and use the next couple weeks to put on your battle gear, because I guarantee you it's going to get kind of bloody. All right. Good luck to you all. Good luck and God bless. We'll see you soon. Oh, and check out our film on Peacock. You can see right down there.